Firstly, my truck's at an auto body shop right now for the second time. The first time was because I had gotten T-boned, but I was only going 25 miles an hour and the guy was coming out of a parking lot. No one got hurt, so I had to bring it to the auto body shop then, and it got all fixed and all that. But the second time was, I admit, my fault, and it was totally my fault. In one of my airsoft review videos, you've seen the Humvee that is actually my stepdad's, that I had in that video, but he needed help, so I went to go help bring it back to the house with my truck, because what ended up happening was there's a problem with the fuel gauge and it was giving a false reading, so the Humvee ran out of fuel and it got stuck down the end of the street, so I had to pull it back. I stopped, but the Humvee didn't, and I wasn't paying attention to what he was telling me to do, and I totally admit that. But you know, for those who say that a truck is a truck and it's bound to get damaged, I 100% am with you on that. My truck's about 10 years old, and I've done a lot to it since I've had it. It's had a lot done to it. I've had to replace the front left wheel bearing. I've had to get brand new tires for it. I've done my own oil changes on it because I'm not super mechanically inclined, so for me it's a learning process of its own. I want to learn about the vehicle, but the thing that frustrates me is these new vehicles that are coming out that's completely, their design is just being completely reshaped and everything's being computerized. So you know, it's like, if I'm gonna learn this vehicle, is it gonna be in vain? You know, like I mean, maybe not, because I'd like to keep it for as long as it lasts. It's a nice truck. It's a Ram 1500 2014, beautiful color, and I've buffed and waxed it. Yeah, I've done everything to keep it in tip-top shape. What happened was the Humvee, when it didn't stop, it bumped into the tailgate, but the Humvee was facing backwards, and it had like a tire rack on the back, so the tire rack had hit the tailgate and dented the tailgate. The Humvee is fine, of course, but the truck unfortunately had faced some cosmetic damage and then some of the paint chips, so it's gonna get fixed, repaired, and repainted. And I like my truck to look brand spanking new once it comes out, so hopefully, I'm sure they'll do a good job. Anyway, that happened. Just a little added stressor, but in a week from now I'm going to be going to my new transfer school. So I just earned my associates. I believe I should be waiting for that to come in the mail. I'm not walking the stage because it's a 2-year school, and I just don't see a big deal of me walking the stage out of a 2-year school. Now I'm going to go to a 4-year school. I just know I got an associate's in general studies, and I'm be getting a bachelor's in film media, and I want to double major, so I'm on that path to double major in communications. So I'll have both a communications and film media degree. Hopefully the drive to work isn't going to be too ridiculous, because it's about it's not, it's only a 30-minute drive, but I'm going to be waking up super early in the morning because I work super early in the morning. Yeah, about the whole emissions policies and trying to change, you know, the government just pushing all these policies on automakers is really just, and it's been said before, it's really destroying the auto industry. It's really hurting them right now, and us as citizens are allowing that to happen because we're purchasing these vehicles. There's a lot of working vehicles out there, older ones that still work, but the problem isn't that you know, I think new vehicles are really nice, but here's the thing. So they're pushing for all electric vehicles, right? Like Tesla. Tesla is all electric, and that's all fine and dandy. We think it's great for the environment. However, the real problem is it's not great for the environment. These vehicles are super unsafe. At least the full electric ones. I think the hybrids are actually a really good choice, and I think they are healthier for the environment. I'd say go for it. But I can't say the same for these fully electric vehicles, and I want to say this because it needs to be said, and we need to do something about it. First off, we need to stop letting these corporations gain more control over, or even, the corporations need to start fighting for the citizens and their customers for real. I mean, the government is pushing policies, and I don't know where this source came from. I heard it from my stepdad, but again, I haven't verified it personally. I know there's a lot of misinformation that goes around, but considering what Tesla's been doing to their vehicles, I believe it. And it's the fact that the government has actually enforced a law that all new vehicles sold have to have a feature that if you're driving erratically, or you're driving above the speed limit, or you're weaving through cars, and it thinks that you're a drunk person, that the vehicle must shut off or must pull over. And I think, I get the idea behind that, and I think it's important that we protect other drivers. But on the same side of a coin, on the same side of the coin, we as citizens have rights and we have protected freedoms, and I think this crosses the line for sure. And the fact that people are just buying new vehicles is allowing these companies the resources and tools to come out with products like this, and they're getting even shittier. And some people had said too that it's not just that people are buying them, it's that you have people that don't really need, for example, trucks, right? Trucks are getting crappier and crappier. And my stepdad is very mechanical, and I would agree with him. I believe a lot of the stuff he says because he's got a lot of knowledge on this stuff, and I've heard it from other car guys too. But putting like twin turbos or turbos in any new truck, I mean, they'll advertise it has like 500 something horsepower. Well, that's great, but these turbos can't handle towing. They're not made for it. It's like, if you're not going to do any work with the truck, then that's fine. But if you're going to do work with it, the turbos aren't going to last. The Hemi on the Ram, which I have a Ram 1500, is completely fine. The only problem that my year, I don't know if they addressed the same problem, but the camshaft goes on them because the oil doesn't get everywhere when the truck is in idle. So that was like a common problem with the Hemi V8s, I guess. And that's why I don't leave my truck idling. But it's a really nice truck. It's really good as a work truck. I don't really need a truck, and I admit that, but I know what a truck is meant for, and I will buy the right truck to do what a truck is meant to do. Not these newer vehicles that can go from 0 to 60 in 4 seconds. It's not a race car, it's a truck, for crying out loud. But yeah, I mean, so I just wanted to get that out there about the Teslas. The Teslas, they have some pretty impressive features, but again, they're incredibly unsafe. The reason I know that, and it's been on the news before, and also I had actually a safety briefing on Teslas through the fire department, which was explaining through a presentation how dangerous the batteries were when they catch on fire. And not only that, if your vehicle runs out of battery, you could get locked inside of the Tesla and you wouldn't be able to get out while the Tesla is literally cooking. And people are just, there's been instances where people have frantically tried to pull other people out of Teslas that have caught fire. One lady had actually drowned because the Tesla just rolled back into a pond, and she couldn't get out of the vehicle. So everyone just watched in horror as the thing just backed up into the water and they couldn't do anything. So that's horrible, that's horrifying, and I think it's disgusting. And it really goes to show that it's all a political game, and that these politics are trying to make themselves look good by being energy or eco-friendly. No, they're not. They want your vote, and they're corrupt. Okay, that's I gotta get that out there. We all know that. So what's the big deal with buying all this new shit, knowing that all this money is gonna go towards these elites that can just continue the control on us as citizens, and especially the working class people. It's always the middle class too that gets basically gets fricked over. Hybrids, on the other hand, if you're gonna go for an electric vehicle, I would recommend a hybrid. I've heard a lot of good things about them. Another thing too, the Tesla batteries, there's nowhere to put them. So if you think you're helping the environment by buying a Tesla, I mean, it's hypocritical. Please don't. And if the battery catches on fire, there's no way to really put the battery out. Like in Europe, that safety briefing I had, they're dumping these vehicles in containers full of water. I mean, it's mind-blowing that, and the roads can't handle it. I saw a Highway Safety Administration crash test on YouTube of a full electric truck, and the roads aren't made for it. So what they did, one of the tests was against those metal rails that you'd see on the side of the highway, the metal barriers or whatever. I think they had like 2 or 3 of them parallel to each other, and then behind that was a concrete barrier. And so they were going to have the truck go towards the metal rails, and it just busted right through them. It busted right through the rails and basically hit the concrete barrier and went right over it. So because of the weight, these batteries make these vehicles 10 times heavier. The roads aren't made for it. And, you know, greedy politicians are just trying to make themselves look good by saying that they're doing all these things to help the environment and help people. And that's not the case. So one thing I ask of you guys, whoever's watching this video, make sure you verify the information that is being fed to you. Even if you want to verify from what I'm telling you now, that's fine. I'm just telling you what I've seen and my knowledge and what I've heard and what I know. So that, you know, it's plain and simple. You watch a Highway Safety Traffic Administration test, whatever, on YouTube, and you see it right in front of you, and you can compile all the evidence together and just make a decision. And that's what I've done. And I just think that we need to be smarter, and we need to understand what we're doing, and we need to act more like citizens and less like consumers, because we live in such a consumer culture right now. So please just take that. Please make use of it, and please just remember, if you're thinking about stuff like this, remember what I said. You know, we as citizens we the people are the government. All right, we need to take care of ourselves. We need to take care of each other, and we need to stop letting unjust and corrupt people try and take control of our rights. It's unlawful. It's, you know, it's against. I signed up to serve and protect the Constitution of the United States, and now I'm out of the Air Force. So truly, this is something that is coming from the heart, that we as citizens need to start acting like citizens and less like consumers, and we need to realize that we are the government. So if anything, get involved with the community, and make the changes and say what needs to be said. So on that note, yeah, my vlog/podcast is over. So for the day. So I hope you took something from this. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I haven't wasted any of your guys' time. And I really appreciate if you could subscribe, because that would help me out. So please be sure to subscribe, like, and comment your thoughts. And I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Peace.